Hey guys, it's Leo, and it's time to talk about episode 18 of TWINKLE PRECURE. This episode focused a lot on Hoshina Terumi, who is Hikaru's mom, an endearing character, and after watching her in this episode, we can totally understand how Hikaru ended up being who she is. Her mom is totally nuts, and she's a very sweet person. She has a lot of passion and fire inside of her, and I loved watching this episode. It was very heartwarming, it was very beautiful. I loved it. And I think that this episode had two different arguments. The first one being you have to do what you like, and you can't lose your essence in what you do. You can't do things only to please other people. And the other one is that you have to like what you like. You cannot other people cannot dictate what you like. You need to, keep your essence with you and like what you like. So both arguments are different, but I think the essence of both of them is the same. So in this episode, we learned that Terumi is a mangaka, but she never had a serialized work before, and I loved that this episode showed lots of manga art. It was very beautifully done, and a lot of those arts had a very heavy 90s influence. I felt like I was seeing Slayer's art, and it was so nice. It's very beautiful to see that, especially for me, who's a 90s kid, and I got to know anime through 90s anime, and that style is one of my favorite styles, at least like visually. And it was nice seeing that represented in Star Twinkle. Apart from that, we also learned what a manga is and how it's done, like in a very simplified way when Hikaru explained that to Lala. And how endearing was that Lala was seeing that when she was reading the manga upside down. And Hikaru told the girls that her mom was having trouble being inspired to work something, and then the girls quickly jumped on to help her. And then when the girls got there and Lala presented herself and said her catchphrase "Loon," her mom quickly got that she's an alien. Like, not really, but like in an unspoken sense, she got that Lala was an alien, and she started writing an alien story, and the girls were like, oh my god, mangakas are so insightful. And I found that really interesting, and I don't know, I just liked that scene a lot. And at that scene as well, when her mom was drawing things, at the side of the screen there was a Hoshina version of Puruns and Lala, Puruns and Fuwa. That was so cute, and there was also a different version of Lala as well, being a 90s alien or something. It was very nice. It was so cool. And little things like that, just show how passionate they are about making Star Twinkle, and that's amazing to see as fans. It's like, well, I think that the staff is having a little bit of fun, even though they might be overworked. We know how things are in Japan. And then she started writing, but her agent told her that she has to do a manga full of romance, and that's not what she liked doing. That's not what she knows how to write, and she had to fit that because that's what the magazine is about, and that's what the readers are looking for. And then she had to write something about a romance between, like, with beautiful boys and doctors and a hospital. And that was very hard for her because she likes writing about action and aliens, and like stories with heroes, and that's not really what that magazine was looking for at the moment. But she had an opportunity, she embraced it, and I think that says a lot about us and how we have to adapt to the market and to what people expect of us, because we need to gain money. We need to be professional in our jobs and everything, and sometimes we can't do what we like doing, and we have to fit the mold. We have to do what's expected of us most times. That's unfortunate, but that's just how the world is, and that's just how we deal with the world, and that's how we have to do it when we become adults. But her mother was having a hard time. The girls helped her. Obviously, Elena and Madoka, being like a doctor and a nurse, Oh my god, come on. That was so cool. And I saw that image last week in the preview and I was very curious to see how it would fit the episode and I was not disappointed at all. That was gorgeous. That was brilliant. I loved it. Please give us more scenes like that. And her mother started working on the manga. She had a hard time, but she focused and she worked hard. There was even a scene when Hikaru was talking to her and she had bags under her eyes. I was like, girl, I totally get you. My eyes are always with bags under it, like every single time. I can't hide them, and they're a part of me now. And when the girls were very happy because she was able to, to make her work on the magazine. But the owners of the magazine didn't like her work. They said it had no elegance and they simply didn't like what she did. And she was very disappointed in herself because of that. And that's when Tenjo entered the story and she quickly jumped and transformed her into a monster and then the girls had to fight her. The fight in this episode was again nothing special, but we had a great moment with Kira and Kira. Kira spinning Kira and then throwing her into the Notre-Dames. Notre-Dames? Not. What are they called? Oh my god, it slipped my mind. But then, Lala also fought them, and then Kira was fighting against her mom in a Notre-Dames version. And it was hard for her to fight her mom like that. And it's interesting to see how the princess powers don't work when they don't need to work. She used her power buffed by a princess pen and it didn't even scrap the monster. Like, sometimes I think that they weaken the cures too much. But the whole point of the fight was to show that Hikaru was able to gain power and to stay strong because of a manga her mother wrote for her. And because of that, she was able to overcome the hardships of the fight and the girls with her friends as well. I mean, teamwork is always a key point in Precure. And then they fought together and they won against the Terumi Notre-Dames version. And well, that was simply the fight, but nothing special apart from the Celine and Soleil moment. That was awesome. And there in this episode there was a manga that Terumi wrote Hikaru when Hikaru was very young, and Hikaru got her passion for manga very early on because of that. And also, Terumi was also able to show her passion to action and to heroes and to aliens in that manga as well. And it was beautiful to see how Hikaru clinged onto that and how important it is for her. And also, there was a moment in this episode when Hikaru was being bullied because she liked reading a kid's manga. And that moment was very beautiful when her mom came to her and said, look, you don't have to like what other people like. If they don't like the manga, that's fine. You are the one who should like it. You should like your own thing. And I feel like Precure is always bringing up great messages. This is another one of them. And it really shows how Precure values individuality and how it values like what you feel, what you like, what makes you emotional, what makes you happy. And you should value that, you should protect that. You shouldn't lose that because other people think it's not okay or what other people think it's childish. And it really resonates with us older Precure fans because sometimes we're looked down in the anime community for liking kids shows, or even in real life, like not anymore, but sometimes when people get to know me, they're like, oh, you like those kids things. That's very strange. Not anymore because, people just know I'm like this. And we shouldn't be ashamed of what we like. If it's legal, if it's not hurting anyone, we should be proud of what we like. We don't have to be ashamed of anything. And this month is Pride Month. So happy Pride Month to all the LGBTQ people out there. We are awesome. And I feel like this was one of the great messages of this episode. It was one of the key points of this episode. And then we had another message, because after Terumi's failure, she started writing what she liked, and that was her focus, writing what she's passionate about. And she was able to make her agent like the work she did at the end, and he was going to help her publish it. And I think that this episode made another great point, which is the fact that failure is part of life. You're going to fail. You are going to fail no matter what. No one's life is made only of success, of hits, and you're going to miss a lot. You're going to fail a lot, and that's okay. You need to find the strength to keep going, to stand up again and keep going. That was another great part of this episode, and it was beautiful. And another interesting thing was that the manga Terumi drew at the end was a manga full of cures. We had Fua, we had prunes, and we had girls fighting, and in like a precure like scenario. So another thing that was amazing. So at the end of the day, I really liked watching Hikaru and her mom together. They have a great dynamic, a great relationship. And in this episode, we also saw a little glimpse of Hikaru's father. Fua asked Hikaru where her father was, and she said that her father works on traveling the world and he travels a lot, so he only sees her once a year. But when we saw the picture, we saw Terumi, Hikaru, and then we had like a light on top of her father. And I feel like I have like two theories about it. One is that we won't see him in the series at all. He won't be remembered. He won't be mentioned anymore. So they didn't even think about drawing him. The other one is that he's probably, something happened to him and he will be somewhat related to the villains in one way or another, or he was captured, or he turned into Deus Mast. Deus Mast is the villain from Mahotsukai. Oh my god, what am I saying? He turned into the villain. I don't know. Do you guys remember the Cure Moonlight situation? It might be something like that. I don't know, but that light on top of him was very strange. But this episode ended with Blue Cat going to the Rainbow Planet, and the Rainbow Planet is very beautiful. I love the format of the planet, and Blue Cat was there. We don't know what she was doing. Well, we do know, but she was there. And then we were able to see that she has a princess pen and she is going for the princess power. What is going to happen next week? Anyways, guys, that was my view on episode 18. Please leave a comment with yours and let's keep our talk in the comment box below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.